It is Tuesday, January the 25th, 2022, 9:28 a.m. I'll be honest, I'm a bit, I don't know, uneasy about the overall stock markets and that. Maybe, there hasn't really been like a very nice OTC runner that can make nice morning panic bounce play setups, but that's what I'm going to be doing, focused on morning panic bounce plays. If there's any nice ones, any gap downs or anything like that, I'll be considering it. Probably won't be anything nice, but maybe. PUG is just having a baby gap down of just 5%, but maybe if it's just like a gap down and breaks under 40, maybe this can be like a sketchy sub-penny morning panic bounce play, but I don't see anything too ideal, to be honest. But if there's something clean, I will consider it. It is 9:41 a.m. and I had one baby trade with ILUS, just literally only made 5 pennies, and I just had to trade it because of the fact that I don't know, it just seems like a textbook pattern, but I didn't like how it wasn't really down that much on the day. And I don't really like how, not just that it wasn't down that much, but how close VWAP was. So I wasn't really that interested in it. I actually traded just 500 shares, which is a $5 risk level, because of how iffy I was with this one and the way it trades. But it looks like it's trying to hit 27 now, which is pretty cool. But anyway, I was in at 936, so there was a wall at 266 right here, pretty big wall, and it was holding it. It was like I think like a 40,000 share seller, and then he just started getting taken out slowly but surely, and I guess I was a bit too late to it. But when they broke out, because I ideally want to get in right before that big seller on the ask breaks, and then they can try to uptrend, but this time they broke through it, and then that's when I placed my order at 267, and that was at 936, almost 937. Right here is when I placed my order, and yeah, it broke through it. I got filled at 266 in theory, and yeah, right about here, because it did like uptrend and then it came back. I actually got filled this candle at 937. It's not the most accurate thing because it was at the very end of 936, and then I sold because I just didn't like how, okay, we broke past that big seller, now what's gonna happen now? It just wasn't looking that nice. VWAP was looking very close to the top. I thought, alright, let me put my sell order at the ask and I'll be out of this trade. Worst case scenario, it breaks under this 26.3 level right here and I get out the trade immediately, maybe a sell at 26 flat, worst case scenario, and I will follow my $5 risk level. 937 is when I got out at 267 flat, so right here, 267 right here, and I was in at 266. So yeah, very small difference really, and it is trying to hit VWAP. You can see a big seller now at VWAP 27, but I guess it did offer some kind of potential. It did kind of work. I think I'll put this in my spreadsheet that this was imperfect, morning panic bounce setup, $5 risk level. I don't mind trading that small again. This thing wasn't really ideal looking, kind of ugly looking, but I did see the textbook pattern. It just wasn't the best example of one, and I still traded it. I was looking at other ones. AABB just looked ugly. It had a downtrend, but then it came all the way back up, so that kind of disqualified it. CYBL, no decent volume, nothing clean looking. BBIG and RETL, these were actually very nice. Maybe I can trade like the higher low off of this, but for now I'll leave it alone. Maybe it can do an inverse head and shoulders, and that would be super ideal. There was another one I was looking at just because it was having a bit of a gap down, but it ended up having zero volume, and it just, when it just popped all the way back here, I thought, alright, this thing doesn't have the volume to really trade. The one I mentioned earlier, PUGE, had no volume, so nothing came out of it. Really, it's just focused on, finding stocks that are down on the day that have a decent amount of volume to trade off of, and then it offers some kind of clean looking pattern. AABB could even be one right here, and it can try to get to VWAP, but the range stinks. 10.7 to 10.8, whoop-de-doo. Horrible daily chart, so it's not that nice. At least ILUS was a bit more clean looking, although even this one wasn't that nice either. If I see any clean patterns, I'll look at it, but yeah, I think I'm up like just 5 pennies trading ILUS, but I don't regret it. At least I traded something that was textbook pattern, even though again it wasn't a good example of it. Okay, it is 10:10 a.m. and I want to make an update on the trade I took with LWLG, which I think I traded horribly. I just really hate the way this one trades, and this thing used to be OTC, but it's now a listed stock. And I just want to go over this idea that I had right here. I did not really hold on to this setup. I just don't like the way it trades. It just seems like there's always somebody with a whole bunch of shares that they're, just waiting for the opportune moment to just dump on the bid and just not make it look that strong. But if I had to guess, it could totally do it, just not with me in it. Again, I just didn't like the way this one trades. But let me just throw in a little trend line, give or take. I'd say right about here. And then if we extend this to the right, you can see it's just trying to break out of this trend line. And this thing could make a reversal. It's dropped from $16 to $7 over these past few weeks. This thing could totally trigger a short squeeze. There could be shorts wanting to cover, when they start seeing the first signs that it's starting to go the other way instead of downtrending, and then it broke this line, which could really help it. I'm trying so hard not to cough, but anyway, just really don't like the way this one traded. But I was in at 9.59. I lost 1 penny from this trade, so technically right now I'm down. Not down. I'm up 4 pennies on the day, not 5 pennies. Whoop-de-doo. But 9.59 I was in right here, and that was at 7.03 right here. 9.59, 7.03 was my entry, just because it was holding this $7 level. I really hated the way this one was trading. It just kept like getting close to $7.01 and looking like it was gonna break under. People were just throwing their shares at the bid. I just did not like the price action. It was starting to uptrend a little bit. I even had a canceled sell order at 10.05, which was right here, 10.05 at 7.04, because I did want to get out, but I canceled it, and then it started to work. It kind of shot up to 7.08, and then it's immediately just got dumped. Like all the shares of somebody with a lot of size just started being dumped on the bid, and it went all the way to 7.03. I felt like I could have done better with my sell. I didn't have to do a market sell, an immediate market sell. I could have threw in a sell order at 7.04, then I would have at least been up a penny. Just for my ego to say that I'm green. But it is trying to do it. I just hate the way this one trades, and it's probably because it's a listed stock. But even listed stocks are not as ugly as this. This is like a hybrid, listed and OTC, price movement. All the ugliness of both sides put together. Could be worse, but yeah, I'll make an update to see what this one does later and go over it. But it's definitely doing it. I just hated the way this one trades. I don't think I traded this one well. If I were to have sold for like a slight profit, I think that would have been cool. But it looks like it's trying to do the thing I was thinking about. I guess needed more patience. But I don't mind my early sell. I just really hated the price action. But I probably could have sold for a slight profit, if that. Alright, it is 5:25 p.m. and I'm here to call it off. This is actually going to be a second take because I didn't like how I'm perfectly fine. I don't feel sick anymore, even though I was pretty sick last week. But the moment I start talking, it's like my throat wants to come back and mess with me. But yeah, I just want to make this a lot better, give it a nice ending, and I ended up just 4 pennies. Just I was up 5 pennies, and then I lost 1 penny with LWLG. I like how ILUS got as high as the 30s, and I haven't really been looking at the markets. After that last video, I just started working on a whole bunch of other stuff, but I like how it turned around. I wouldn't have, no way would I have held through all of this price action, even though maybe a trend line. I don't even think a trend line would really work. Maybe based off of the corner of that red candle, right? That actually wasn't too bad. I don't know, maybe I'm getting a little too addicted to trend lines. Well, you can clearly see, it tried to break it here, but it kept going. But then here, this was absolutely out of it 100%, and that was a sell, in the 30s, the mid 30 level. So yeah, it's actually not bad. I don't know. I think what I could do is that if I'm in the setup and it just doesn't look nice like it was with ILUS and LWLG, which I called, like, you know, I saw from the price action, there was just somebody out there with a whole bunch of shares to sell. And even though it went all the way up here, right, it got sold off, went all the way back, tried again, somebody had shares to sell, got to the point that he just broke under $7, and now it's trying to reverse ever since. Somebody, I felt like, you know, just had a lot of shares, and I hated the way it was trading here. But what I can do is just simply, you know, if it looks like crap, just get out half of my position and then hold the other half. So then if it breaks the risk level, which it never did here, and I would have been able to sell into this nice run towards VWAP, which was my goal here with LWLG, I would have been much more profitable. And for ILUS, same thing, it got to VWAP. It never broke the risk level, even though the setup looked ugly. So I'm going to consider that in the future and maybe not be too dependent on trend lines, but I think that will help me get much better. I just absolutely hate red. You know, red days, red trades, just hate it. You know, even though I'm up 4 puny freaking pennies today, I just hate being red. So I think that's what I can do to get better. You know, just so half if the setup just doesn't look nice after I'm in. That's all I have for today, and I did this take a lot better than the other one.